You know that person who is just full of incredible ideas? They're always talking about the business they're going to launch, the book they're going to write, or how they're going to completely reinvent their life. They can see it all so clearly, but for some reason, they never, ever actually start. Okay, let's dive into this because it is a truly fascinating
So
puzzle.
what is it? What's the thing that really kills those big dreams? I mean, they've got the ambition, they definitely have the vision, but something is just stopping them in their tracks. That's the big mystery we're going to try to solve together.
We all know someone like this. And hey, let's be honest, sometimes we are this person. You can map out the entire plan, every single step to success right there in your head. You genuinely believe you've got what it takes. And yet, that first crucial step, it just never happens.
Now, it's so easy to just slap a label on this, right? Call it laziness, or maybe a lack of discipline. But psychology tells us it's way more complicated than that. There are these powerful, almost invisible
inside our
minds. So, let's start by exploring two of the mind's most clever traps. These are basically cognitive tricks that our brain plays on us, and they make doing nothing feel not only comfortable,
Sometimes even
but productive. So,
the first major reason is kind of mental sleight of hand.
This is all about confusing the act of thinking about something with actually making progress on it. See, when you spend hours planning and visualizing your success, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine. It feels good. It feels like you've already accomplished something.
And that's the real kicker, that tiny burst of satisfaction you get from just daydreaming about your goal. It actually kills the urgency to go out and do the hard work. I mean, why would you start the difficult journey when you can get a little taste of the reward right now just by thinking about it?
Okay, so let's move on to the second psychological trap. This one's often hiding in plain sight.
It's the hidden fear of failure. It's not that these big dreamers don't have ambition, it's that they are terrified of what happens if they give it their all and it doesn't work out. So doing nothing becomes this incredibly clever defense mechanism for the ego.
And here's the key insight. Just think about it. As long as that dream stays safely inside your head, it's perfect. It's a guaranteed success. But the moment you try to make it real, you introduce the risk of failure, of imperfection. So staying in that planning phase, it keeps that beautiful, idealized version of your dream totally safe.
All right, so beyond those first two traps, there's a whole other set of mental blocks that just create this state of total paralysis. They turn ambitious dreamers into people who are just perpetually waiting.
The third big reason is something I think every single one of us can relate to.
It's what you could call the perfect moment fallacy. This is that deep down belief that one day, everything's going to align perfectly. You'll have enough time, you'll have enough money, you'll feel confident, and you'll just know you're ready. But that feeling, it almost never shows up on its own.
And this is the part that flips the whole idea on its head. Readiness isn't something you need before you act, it's the result of your action. You build confidence and you start to feel ready by taking those first small steps, by learning as you go. Waiting for the feeling to arrive first is just a recipe for waiting forever.
Okay, let's look at the fourth block, which, man, it feels like a total modern epidemic of overthinking.
Analysis paralysis. You know what this is. The dreamer thinks about every possible step, every potential setback, every single outcome. They research for weeks, they make these super complex plans, and they weigh every pro and con 1,000 times over. And look, some planning is good, but this level of planning, it's just exhausting. And we've all been there, right? You spend so much mental energy just preparing to act that when the moment finally comes to take that first step, you've got absolutely nothing left in the tank. Your brain's battery is just completely drained. Now, the fifth and final block in this part is maybe the most profound of them all. It's about who you really believe you are.
It's called identity misalignment. See, your brain has this incredibly powerful drive to act in a way that's consistent with your identity. So if your big dream is to become a disciplined entrepreneur, but deep down you secretly see yourself as, say, someone who's not disciplined or a person who never finishes things, you're setting up a massive internal battle.
And that is such a powerful idea. True, meaningful action isn't just about doing new things, it is about becoming a new person. And your brain can fight that transformation because it feels scary and unfamiliar. It's trying to keep you consistent with the person you've always been. Okay, so we've looked at all these mental traps and all these roadblocks. What is the one thing that really ties them all together? Well, it comes down to a fundamental choice between two very, very different feelings. Really, it all comes down to this choice right here. On one side, you have the allure of potential,
And it is intoxicating. Talking about your future, imagining the possibilities, it's exciting, it feels great, and it protects your ego. But the reality of progress? Well, that's often slow, it's repetitive, and it's super uncomfortable. It forces you to actually face who you are. The truth is, many people are simply addicted to the feeling of potential, not the messy process of progress.
And that really brings us to the ultimate takeaway here. The people who actually turn those big dreams into reality, they aren't necessarily the most talented. They're the ones who understand these mental games, and they've developed the ability to take action anyway. To do the work even when it's hard, even when they're scared, and even when their own mind is screaming at them to just wait.
So the final question isn't about how big or perfect your dream is. It's what's one small, messy, imperfect step you can take towards it